Burnt out streetlights. I'm not the one to be a strong believer of the paranormal, as oftentimes I think it's the human imagination that gets the best of us. But I can't help but notice one common tendency that happens to me from time to time on a more occurrent basis. The burning out of the bulb inside a streetlight whenever I walk nearby its proximity. Just now, I got back to my apartment after walking my dogs around the block, and have the experience just happen to me yet again. I would say it happens maybe 5 times per monthly basis. A week ago, the T5s in the kitchen went off and on, while the microwave and everything else was still powered on. This was a first for me. My girlfriend has witnessed this herself, and even she's unsure if it ever happens to her alone. I also noticed that this happens more when my mind's in a euphoric, cognitively active state of mind, but I don't know if it's just me overthinking the behavior of the streetlight, a cause of something else, or if I'm the only one who notices this stuff. Has anyone experienced this form of phenomena with streetlights? The encounter. So, I live in Soquel and have some buddies that live in the high desert, Joshua Tree area, and they've had some weird shit happen to them. My friend has a pretty cool story. He was walking home one night when he was in his early teens and saw an older man walking towards him. The guy gave off a really creepy vibe, so my friend walked across the street to cross it, and the man crossed the street to the same side as well. When they passed, he swears on his life he heard the man growl at him, and that he saw a tail out of the corner of his eye. He took off running, and when he turned around again, the man was gone. Keep in mind that this was on a dirt road in the desert where nothing is around. There's some weird shit that happens in desert streets. There's a lot of stories about the infamous Yucca Valley Joshua Tree shapeshifters as well. These weird beings that follow people walking through the desert and turn into them, only to disappear after a few seconds when seen. If you ever find yourself in the area, ask the locals about it. Everyone seems to know someone that has had something strange happen to them. My personal nightmare on Elm Street. Firstly, I would like to clarify that this story is entirely true and very personal to me, and that I have no clue what the previous tenants of the house did. With that small disclaimer out of the way, let the story begin. This all started about 1 year ago this very month. We had been kicked out of our old house due to the landlords selling it out from under us without warning. We had a 2-week time frame to move out, so naturally, we started searching for a new house to move into. After searching for about 2 or 3 days, we found a house for rent, which was only 2 blocks away on East Elm Street. We looked into it, and although it was a rather disgusting house, it was the best that we could do. So, we moved in and got settled down. The first thing I noticed that sent a chill down my spine was that someone carved a satanic circle into my closet door. As eerie as this was, there wasn't much I could do about it. For months, nothing at all had happened, but one day, we were doing some renovations. My parents had bought white paint, which was the same color as the closet door, so naturally I asked them to cover the circle up. After they did so, things got very bad. My dreams were plagued by a dark figure with long, sharp fingers. Eventually, I stopped having natural dreams and started having out-of-body dreams, astral projections, or whatever you call them. One night, it got very bad. In an out-of-body dream, I was in my room, looking at my sleeping body. Out of the corner of my room came the same dark figure, who made its way to my bedside. It had slid its hand through my hair as a lover might, and then began to strangle me. I woke up with a bruised neck and a heavy loss of breath. This was the final straw for me. The next morning, I brought it up with my mother, who had went as white as a bedsheet. She had been having nightmares of the same figure. However, it never got as bad as how I had it. We immediately started searching for a house, and within a week, we were long gone. When we had loaded up the last of the boxes, we started to drive away. I looked at the window towards the house for some reason, though I wish to this very day that I hadn't. Because in the window of my old room stood the tall, dark figure. It was staring right at me, and I felt a deep burning sensation in my chest, as though pure hate was being shot into my soul by this thing. To this day, I cannot sleep peacefully without worrying about it showing up in my dream. A stranger on the street read my thoughts and then walked away. Yesterday, on June 13, 2016, I had a very strange paranormal incident. I was walking along a running path that is next to a river while thinking to myself, trying to stay positive about life, which is in the gutter. I started thinking about the lines from E. E. Cummings' "Love is a place, and through this place of love, move. With the brightness of peace, all places. Yes is a world, and in this world of yes live, skillfully curled all worlds," which I hadn't remembered in many, many years. In the distance, ahead of me somewhere, I hear someone yell a single word. There were two other men nearby, and they heard it too, but then went back to talking to themselves. I thought that it may have been someone yelling at a dog or something like that. The path near next to the river is about 8 feet lower than another path next to a road on the other side of the bushes. So I kept walking, and then I was thinking, Eli, the book of Eli. I wonder if that's a real book in the Bible. Thoughts about that name and movie. The path had a curve, and as I turned on the sidewalk higher up, I saw a man, with a man in his 40s probably, standing there holding a backpack. He started talking, and I thought he was talking to himself. He was very angry. Then he started walking along his sidewalk in the same direction as my path that was lower. Well, he is staring at me and talking, and I think to myself, what the fuck? Because this guy is very angry, and I think he wants to fight me. Then he puts his bag down and starts walking across this grassy hill towards me, and I think to myself, oh my god, I have to fight this guy now. Just keep walking and ignore him, okay? And then he stopped walking towards me and stood there. He was now behind me and to my left. Well, I'm walking and I hear him saying something like, "I heard that," and something about being sensitive, and he heard me. And I thought to myself, holy crap, he heard me say what the fuck, or he read my lips, and I get even more worried. Well, then I think it's over because I'm ahead and I hear him say, "You said 3 words," and I keep walking. Then he yells, "E-L-I," and I stop dead in my tracks. I turn around and he's standing in the same spot. I have chills going through my body like crazy, and he's staring right at me and sort of nodding his head. I mean, he knows that I know that he knows. It freaked me out so much. Then he says, "The book of..." And I said, "Eli." Exactly. Something like that. Then he goes to grab his bag and starts leaving. And I ask him, "Who are you?" And he yelled, "Doesn't matter." And then I asked him, "How did you do that?" And he said, "Doesn't matter." I said, "Wait, will you talk to me?" And he said, "No, you're preaching to the choir." And then say, "Talk with me?" And he said, "No, you're preaching to the choir. No." And I sensed that if I followed him and kept it up, he would punch me out or something. I wasn't meant to follow him. He got his message across, and then he was on his way. What gets me, though, is that he completely read my thoughts at that time, and he knew he did. He knew he got his point across and that I believed him, and then he was on his way, and he was so angry. That is what bothers me now. It wasn't like he was a little old woman who was quietly reading my mind. No, this guy was enraged, to the point I thought he was gonna fight me at the start. I checked the internet right now for things like stranger read my mind and such, but could not find an incident like mine. What do y'all think about this? To me, I've gone through very bad experiences the past few months, and was having some bad thoughts about concluding things, and then this happened. Also, the week before, I was thinking in my head, wanting a sign that there was more to this world than matter and energy, and this happened. Furthermore, about 16 years prior to now, I had a similar incident. I was at a bus stop, and a homeless man approached me and said my first name. Then he said, "You know who I am?" And I didn't, and he said, "I know what you want to be." And in my head, I thought, an angel. And he said, "An angel." And it freaked me out, just like now. I'm not crazy, but I know it sounds like I am. I called my friend on the phone while the guy from yesterday was walking away, just to have some comfort because the situation itself was so frickin' bizarre. If you know any incidences like mine, or what this might be, please let me know. I saw the homeless man from the bus stop after the incident with him, and he didn't know who I was and didn't read my mind again. It's as if he wasn't the same man.